Studio. Okay, we're back in the garage. It's about 35 degrees in here. We do have a little heater running, but that ain't really doing much unless I'm sitting right in front of it. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another transmission video. We're going to keep this continuing series going until the job's done. I did come out the other day and I cleaned up under the car. Probably can't see it too good, but the ground's all nice and clean. I put the transmission pan back up. I also cut off the steering boot. Look at that poor thing. I got another one coming. That's for the passenger side rack and pinion inner tie rod. And yesterday I came out and I built this wonderful contraption here. Seeing as how I don't have a power saw, I did this with a drill. I mean, please don't comment on how it looks. It's solid. I do believe it's going to hold our engine up. I got a hook back here. I'm going to get a chain or rope or something, put that there, and then I got a hook right there that's going to rest on this one here. And I got a good bracing. I think this will be good. I know how ghetto it looks, but I'm just using what I got. So anyway, the goals for today, I want to get the rack and pinion unbolted from the subframe and tie it out of the way, which will be more challenging than the Lumina was because the Lumina engine didn't sit back this far. It was more up here, so I'm going to have to move this out of here, and then we'll have to get down there and get a piece of wire or something wrapped around the rack and pinion and bring it up and secure it up here somehow. So we're going to do that, and then I'd like to disconnect the transmission cooler lines and get in the cover for the engine to torque converter connection and get in there. There's 3 bolts in there I need to get in, so I'd like to get those disconnected. So rack and pinion, cooler lines, and we'll disconnect the torque converter from the drive plate. That's what we're doing. Just an interesting side note, I always had Days of Thunder playing like on a laptop when I was doing my head gaskets on my Lumina. I always had this playing in the background, so I'm gonna have that playing. Hopefully we won't get any copyright strike for that, but there you go, Days of Thunder. These are going to be a little hard to film. There's an 18 millimeter bolt with a nut. It's hard to film because I can't get decent light in here. So right there's 1 bolt on each side. So we're going to take off the driver's side. There's an 18 millimeter socket and a wrench on the back. Hopefully it doesn't give me too much trouble. There we go. Gotcha. Driver's side rack and pinion. The passenger side is much easier to get to. Of course, you're looking at the rack and pinion without the boot on it. We get the new boot. We'll pack some grease. I don't think any damage was caused, but like I said, certainly not something we can ignore. My bolt and nut is right there. So, put the ratchet on it. Crack it with the foot. There we go. I felt it turn. Yeah, she's turning. God, those are coming out like a freaking dream. Oh. Hell yes. As Cole's winning the race. Passenger side rack and pinion bolt. Now we're gonna have to figure out a way to. I'm gonna have to go top side and drop a wire down and see if I can fish it around there. It's not that heavy, but you don't want it to drop because that can mess up your steering shaft. So you want to keep it in the relatively same position if you can. Okay, we gotta move this beautiful monstrosity out of the way. Just be able to lift it. Now, I'm telling you guys, it'll work. I have faith in it. Like I said, this engine sits back a lot deeper than the Lumina engine did. I mean, it goes way back in here, so I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to do this. Just using some 12 gauge wire, 12 gauge copper. Just want to get around the rack and pinion. The Lumina was much easier because you could get to it from the top of the back of the engine. This engine sits back so far that it's just out of reach. Okay, we got the rack and pinion wrapped around the exhaust. Actually under the sway bar too, but that's okay. That won't hurt anything. There we go. Now I got a good twist. Okay. I think that'll hold just fine. I got the, really my only option, I got the rack and pinion secured to the exhaust. The rack and pinion not being very heavy, it shouldn't put too much pressure on that exhaust pipe. I don't know if you can see it in there. But we can also, once we start dropping the subframe, we can adjust it as needed. If it's coming down too far, we can get in there and tighten it up. But I think that'll hold it. I am removing the access cover to the torque converter bolts. Should be able to crack these without a ratchet. There's two of them here. Yeah, get a ratchet. Okay, torque converter cover. Here's your flywheel. I gotta remember how the hell we do this. Alright, I had to check the book. I knew there was a trick to this. The trick to this is you gotta turn the flywheel from the passenger side pulley bolt until you get these bolts in view. These are an 18 millimeter. I'm gonna try to remove this brace between the engine and the transmission. Probably give me more room to get into the flywheel. Now the official, for the Lumina anyway, said remove the starter motor. I don't think I'm going to have to do that. But I'm going to get this brace off and let's see what we... Come on. Why the hell am I in tightening mode? Okay, well, my fault. Should move the other way. Oh, yes. There we go. Oh, yeah, that's much better. See, I could see a good ways in there now. Now I can see the bolts. Really good. Crack it loose. By golly, I did. Before we pull it all the way out, I'm going to rotate it and get the next one. The problem is I can't see that from over here. Okay, you guys tell me when. This job is definitely not easy on the body. Okay, let's see what we can get here. There we go. I like that grip. Ready? Ah, we got it loose. We got it loose, you mother bitch. I got you. All right, I just cracked the third one. Got the other two out. This one proved to be the most bitch of them all. I slightly stripped it, so might have to look at getting another bolt. Okay, the torque converter. I don't know if you can see it. The torque converter is now disconnected from the engine. I could spin it freely. So, 3 bolts and she's loose. The one good thing about these is they're not that long. So once you get them moving, they're not hard to get out. But these 3 bolts right here are all that connects your transmission to your engine. If not for these 3 bolts, you wouldn't be going nowhere. Okay, and I think the only thing else I wanted to get done today was to disconnect the transaxle cooler lines. It's these little black clips, these little black protective covers slide off. That's going to be a 3/4. I probably want to get a small bucket because even though I let this drip for days, we might spill some. We'll see how it goes here. About 20 minutes later, I had to fight with this. I thought he'd be easy, but he wasn't. Transaxle cooler lines are disconnected. They did start leaking. That's just residual fluid flowing out of the radiator. So I'll put a small drip pan or something under that. And I think that concludes what I wanted to do for today. We got the flywheel disconnected, the cooler lines disconnected, the rack and pinion is disconnected and secured. So really, and I removed this brace here, which I would have had to do anyway. Really, we're ready to start pulling motor mounts apart. So on the next one, we're going to secure the engine at the top from our DIY hoist. We'll see how that works out, and then we'll start removing subframe bolts and get the subframe dropped. It might be a few days because we got some messy weather coming, so I'll have to deal with sidewalks and ice and snow and all kinds of crap maybe. So until the next one, guys, we're getting there. You guys take care. Have a good new year.